sitting there like, man,
I can't do it.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Good afternoon and welcome to another edition of Ask Mathis. I'm your host, Reginald Mathis, and rocking with me is my brother Wild Man Teddy T, a.k.a. Baron Theo Mound-builder.
We in here. We is in here.
Yes, we are, man. And we got our brother over here, Black Republican, Stefan.
MAGA man.
A lot of folks been, recanting, rescinding their support, but we'll get to that a little later, man. Got a mourning death today of one and only Dick Cheney, former vice president, former secretary of defense, former congressman, Liz Cheney's dad.
Yeah.
84 years old. So, he lived a good life according to the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
70.
That's it.
Plus 14. So, can't complain about that.
What you mean by that? He lived a good life according to the Bible.
70 years is what, 70. 60 plus 10, 70 years. That's, what the Bible says is like, a good life. That's the life. That's what
okay.
10. 10. 70 years. So you make it to 70.
So, you made it to 70, that mean you made it had a good life?
I made it to 70. That means you got what was, I won't say promised, but, what was objectively stated as, as a good life. Now, Jesus died at 33, King 33, Malcolm. So I leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that was some tragic lives. Don't mean that they were the most important. Kennedy didn't make it to that age, but boom. Great transition. Buyer's remorse. South Florida black men on life in the Trump era. So, I'm going to start with our guy. As we just tied the record. For shutdown. So tomorrow we will have the record. And by the time this airs on Video Mix on Sunday, we'll be in high cotton all by ourselves. So, what say you, sir?
I love it.
There you go.
I love it. It's better than I thought it would be.
There you go. I love that. I love that. Did you see the 60 Minutes interview? I thought it was one of his best interviews. I was so engaged. I couldn't turn the channel. I couldn't go take a break. I thought it was one of his best ones. He didn't dodge any questions. He was his, glooming self. Like, that's a nasty question, whatever. But, Nora O'Donnell, to her credit, she made him answer a few tough things, pointed out a few inconsistencies. Now, the one thing, when he keeps calling people criminals and crooks and felons, like, why won't anybody say, dude, you had a whole federal trial. You had a whole federal criminal trial, bruh. You feel me?
Ain't nobody want that rebuttal. Who you talking about, me? Or you're causing trouble with me?
But other than that, he didn't dodge any questions, man. I thought he was informative. I got the information. I guess after a while, you get used to the way his mind works, the way he speaks, whatever. But, and today, as we address, we're going to come around and address Brother Step. We're going to do it like in a roundabout manner. Margie Taylor Greene, she was on The View today, and she did a great job. I really applaud her for coming on, and just the way she came, sat down. I think she has a bright future.
Right.
I think she has a bright future in the sense that these people come out all controversial and it's the clickbait. They understand the society that we live in. And they like, they study Trump. Like, what did he do? It's like, oh, he come out and say some crazy stuff. so that later on you can be like, oh, I was taken out of context. Oh, this, that, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So, she came on, and I guess they was leveling it because they focused on her differences with the party. But she was quick to tell them, she was like, basically, both parties lie.
Mm-hmm.
Both parties are failing us.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't like the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. She doesn't like the leadership in the Senate. She was going off. She's like, man, I'm from a small town. I ran a construction company for 20 years. It's blue collar. And when I'm riding by and I'm seeing like these buildings that's dwindling, that's going down, and we sending foreign aid, we bailing out Argentina, we supporting all these foreign wars, regime change, and all this other stuff. She like, I ain't with it. I ain't with none of that. And covering up for pedophiles. She ain't with that. She's like, man, I would sit there on Congress, on the well of the House, and I would read the names of the folks, if I had the files, So to her credit, man, that's what's up. She's very, very free speech. I'm thinking she's probably going to challenge eventually for that Senate spot in Georgia, because it's held right now by a Jew and a black person. So you already know in Georgia, they looking at that like they ain't never gonna let them brothers have a break ever. They ain't never gonna be able to be like, nah, I'm cool. I've been here long enough. Nah, somebody always like, going back to our movie, Trading Places. You think we're gonna let what? You put in whichever one you want to put in. A Jew, a black person have our spot in Georgia? In the heart of Dixie? Neither do I.
Ain't going down.
Neither would I. Neither would I.
Does the Democrat Party, do they have a leader yet?
Where?
Is there a clear front runner?
No.
Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, maybe.
Gavin Newsom, and I would say Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland. But he don't want that smoke right now. He don't want that smoke right now, because they already done crashed the bridge, and Trump helped build the bridge in record time.
Yep.
So Buddy is just like,
sit back.
And they got so many federal workers, Virginia, Maryland.
Oh, yeah,
they got so many federal workers. So he kind of like whatever. But Trump is trolling him because Trump sees him. He sees like his potential and what he's doing and whatnot. But Westmore, frat brother, good alpha man, military vet, smart guy, Rhodes Scholar, like, it has all the stuff that you would want, in a leader, combat veteran, like, actually fought, led troops. Definitely somebody, but he's you gotta lead people for a while. Like, I haven't seen him in any elected position other than governor. So I think you need some more on the job training. You need some more experience, man, before you come, because these jobs are not easy. And to Trump's credit, man, like, he seemed very, like, his mind seemed to be on point. Like, all this stuff about him not understanding, that's trash. Buddy was like, he was giving it. You may not like all his answers and all the stuff that he was saying, and he's braggadocious in the sense that, and we all know people. We all know people like that, in the sense that they feel like they disrespected. Like, what did Rodney Dangerfield used to say? What was his thing?
Respect.
No respect. No respect. That's his thing. He feel like, nobody respect my gangster. Everybody got something to say. Well, in part because, as President Obama says, you great at letting people do the work, and then you go slap your name on the building. Right? Right? You have had, several bankruptcies, where you taking people's money and just be like, oh well, you have enriched yourself and your family billions of dollars. Your son-in-law, you know, just got almost $2 billion from folks from the Middle East, and then you just sent him over to the to like negotiate some deals on behalf of the government with the folks that just gave his private company, his private equity firm, a couple billion. You don't see nothing wrong with that. I guess that ain't really what you see. What happens with him? You more so like what happens with you.
No, what happens with our community.
Okay.
That's
So
all-
you say
that's all I care
so
about,
with
our
our community, when they have these mostly black women, even though 75% of the SNAP recipients are white, but at least all the interviews that I've seen, they got the black women up there, single mom with 2 kids at home. Lady said, how much money you have? She's like, $23. How much you have, on your card? 0. Like, I've been drinking water, just feeding the kids. The holidays coming up. School's going to be out. So the kids are not going to be eating because they're not going to be at school. So the face of this, you say that's our community, because the face of what's happening with this shutdown and SNAP benefits are black women.
The difference is those white women took their benefits, but they kept their families together. Our black women took their benefits and they broke their families up. That's the difference.
Or they split their families up by having multiple fathers, and therefore the dads don't get along, so the dad's not around because they, Exactly. They can't really be under the same
At the end of the day, it started from the injection of the benefits. Before that, we was married at 80%. When we started,
that is true. We used to have some of the highest rates of marriage. That's so true.
So we took.
They incentivize. At some point, the welfare moms of the 70s. I remember the welfare moms of the 70s were incentivized to have multiple children. Right. To have, so you basically just want them to die out. Like, what you want them to do?
I want us to make better life choices and not depend on the government. That's it.
Make better life choices and not depend on the government.
Self-determination and self-government.
If you tie your choices to the government,
look what happens.
Dependency.
Look what happens. Okay.
You got it. Communities need to be able to preserve the people in the community without the government. With the amount of money that's being made in the community, there should be different subsidized that help in these situations. They shouldn't have to depend on what the federal government it has.
Okay.
When we broke those families up, the guidance of especially our black males went to the trash.
Went to the
prison.
Went to the trash. Went to the gangs and criminal culture, because somebody's always going to step into that void. Somebody's always going to fill the void. You're going to fill the void. And we don't differ so much.
Before women had to choose providers instead of
I could do it
aesthetics, or I could do it myself, or I could do what gives me butterflies. They had to choose providers. They had to choose good men because if they didn't choose a good man, they didn't have nobody to depend on. Now they got it. Now for the last.
So the government been their husband. Okay, we hear that from Step coming at it real. So here's another casualty of the shutdown, and that is air traffic controllers. Can you hear what this brother has to say right now? We got these folks up here calling out work because they driving Uber, they doing Uber Eats, DoorDash, etc., rather than go to those airports. And in Houston, you're talking about 6-7 hour flight delays because making, as essential workers, they're making folks go to work without a paycheck. That's crazy.
That said, I'm running out of money, and if she doesn't get the medicine she needs, she dies. That's the end. So I'm going to either have to quit this job and take a different one instead of moving America's passengers through it or the cargo. Now I'm going to have to choose my family and my daughter.
Somebody came to me and said, Joe, I have a question for you. I said, what's that? I need your advice. What am I to do? Do I put gas in my car? Do I put food on the table? My wife is out making money. We don't have money for daycare. What do I do? I didn't have the answers.
Day in, day out, that's now the life of an air traffic controller. The people tasked with making the impossible possible are having it made impossible by not paying them again. So the message is simple. In the shutdown today, I got a message from a controller.
Well, right now, and I feel his pain, and it's going to require some pain. But I think we too far in right now. I think you got to get the healthcare subsidies at least extended for a year. At least extended for a year, because the November 1st date has already come. And the November date, you're talking about overnight going from, a family of 4 going from $800 to $2,400, like overnight. Bruh, I think you got to do it. I think you at least got to extend it a year. Like right now, I think it's one and the same. Just extend the subsidies. Just extend the subsidies. I think it goes along with a continuing resolution or whatever. But that whole just open it up and negotiate. No, remember they were trying to do this back in March. Remember they was trying to do this back in March, and Chuck Schumer got up there and was like, no, we can't. We can't do this. We can't do this. We gotta, let's just do the CR. And what happened? Nothing. Nothing. So here we are. And Schumer was like vilified for doing it. But look at the brother, good Morehouse man, Senator Raphael Warnock, let you know what's happening with these. And it's quick. It's quick if you let this.
The current fight is all about. Nobody wants to shut down. At least I don't. I don't want to shut down. But what I also don't want is for people in Georgia that I represent to lose their health care because it's simply unaffordable. Let me show you what I mean. In 2025, this family of 4 in Chatham County, where I grew up, paid $559.69 per month for the lowest cost option. That's the lowest cost. Family of 4, $559.69 a month. Now look at this. Because of Republicans' cuts to health care last summer, the same family will have to pay $2,131.65 for the lowest cost option. You tell me how an ordinary working family in Georgia is supposed to afford that. Republicans did this. And right now, they won't reopen the government because they're fighting for this. Well, I'm not fighting for Georgians to have their health care premiums quadrupled. I'm fighting to extend their health care and to reopen the government. My Republican colleagues ought to join me. So, folks,
what say you? You think that's BS, or do you think it's, the insurance? You was talking about last time. You was talking about Obamacare and how your insurance went through the roof. Did it ever come down?
Went through the roof.
It should have come down in 2022, because remember when Obama passed Obamacare in 2010, right? It was like he spent that whole year, and that's when I learned for the first time in watching that whole thing that presidents, when they come in, they get a mandate to do one big thing, and Obama one big thing versus everybody's like, when he going to be the black president? When he going to do this? What his one big thing was healthcare. He talked about his mom and her fight and how she was battling and always on the phone with the insurance companies and uninsured or whatever. So that was his one big thing. So as soon as he passed Obamacare, remember, not one Republican vote. But Obamacare started out from a Republican think tank, as far as, the healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
But once Obama was like, yo, I'm going to do it. And that's why Mitt Romney, like legs was taken out from under him, because Obamacare is essentially the healthcare program that Mitt Romney had passed when he was the governor of Massachusetts, right? A Republican. So because Obama got Obamacare passed without any Republican help, he got murdered in the midterms. He got killed in the midterms. No Republicans supported, and all the Democrats lost out. So then right after that, everything was about replace, repeal, and replace, repeal and replace, repeal and replace. So it wasn't until John McCain, in Trump's first term, John McCain, after like the 60th time that they tried to repeal and replace, came with the thumbs down at the end. It wasn't until 2022 they finally passed the subsidies. So I ask you, what happened in 2022? Did the subsidies help you in 2022?
I think it went.
It went way down.
Probably in 2022.
Right, and that's the point. Well, then I'll let you finish your point. That's the point. Healthcare is not a Democrat problem. It's not a Republican problem. It's an American problem, because the insurance is not natural. In all other Western, civilized societies, developed nations and whatnot, it's universal health care. Like, that's not the thing that folks is coming in there paying all their money on. Is how you born is going to decide or whatever. And I know you feel like, because you work out, it's like, hey, if you go and eat a bunch of Twinkies all day, you know what I mean? You should have to pay for that. So that's being a libertarian all the way. I respect that. But what I'm saying is, you take a Republican plan, but because a black Democrat is the one that gets it passed, all the Republicans sit on their hands and not do anything to help it, to help us, to help the people. Except in 2022, they came in and then passed, the legislation for these subsidies. But those subsidies, unlike the tax cuts, remember the tax cuts when Trump came in, he was like, let's make them permanent. Let's make them permanent. Let's make them permanent. They done made them permanent. So folks was like, okay, that's what you do for the wealthy people. Now do this for the folks. Let's make these permanent, which you can argue it's not sustainable, but it's going to take both sides. Now, continue.
I was trying to ask you, okay, who was responsible for the subsidies?
That was Congress passed those subsidies, I believe, under Biden because of COVID. Like COVID, when they had when they came in with that huge, infrastructure bill, I think that was where the subsidies came in. And those subsidies sunset. Like they sunset, like that's what we're dealing with now. They're like, okay, boom, they gone. So now this $584 that you was paying for 2025 becomes $2,200 because we're not subsidizing it anymore. Like what Biden did, to his credit, and I wish he was 20 years ago, bro. Joe Biden been running for president since I was in middle school, bro. I promise you, literally, since I was in middle school, the man been running for president. And he was sharp. But by the time he got here, he was just basically given a what you call it, what they give you, a Lifetime Achievement Award as president. And in today's society, you couldn't have a guy that's just like falling asleep and whatever. But he knows what he's talking about. He just couldn't deliver. He couldn't articulate it and put it out there. But Buddy had some stuff.
Because back when he was in Senate, he was working on a lot of stuff that was good.
He was working on stuff that was good, that was helpful for people to come in, because he studied it for over 40 years. You sitting there, you doing this, and you go in there, he can talk to you about policy and this and that. And then folks get lost in the weeds. It's like, we need quick sound bites.
Right. terrible at marketing.
Yes.
If he did such a good thing with subsidies, I ain't know nothing about it.
Yeah, those subsidies is, you know, what came out of all of that legislation, but it's sunset. It's sunset just like the tax cuts. And so the folks was like, hey, we need to make that permanent. And the other thing that he did, like, why aren't the people talking about the insulin? Like, why are people talking about the insulin capping it at $35 a month? Like, going in there, having the government, the power of the government basically saying, y'all insurance companies, y'all tripping. Like, y'all are charging 1 billion times the rate of what this is to make money. And then you have the folks saying, oh, well, you know what? If y'all do that, then, you know, research and development, we're not going to invest our money in research and development. But look what Trump did to all the Ivy League schools. Mm-hmm. He made Harvard, he made all these schools, Columbia, he made these schools come and pay the government because how much money they get in research grants. We paying these universities billions of dollars to come in here and discover the next, you know, this and that. And so you have like companies like Eli Lilly and these other pharmaceutical companies that come in and they write the check. They write the serious check. And folks is like, well, you know what? How much time you need? Okay, we'll figure out how to do that. And I'm looking at Mike Johnson and I'm saying, like, how is this going to end when you have this person, the daughter of the congressman from Arizona, who was elected to take his place? He's been battling cancer for all this time. So his daughter wins the seat back in September, but Mike Johnson will not seat her. And why won't he seat her? He won't seat her because she has already pledged to be the 218 vote needed to release the Epstein files. But he won't do it. Now he's blaming it on the shutdown. Right. But he has sworn in other people who won in special elections even when Congress wasn't in session. But he's holding her up. He won't do it. So I be looking at that every day and I'm like, Mike Johnson is probably like telling, you know, Trump, like, yo, bruh, I don't know how long I can hold it out. I can hold him off on this. Like, what can I do? Trump just give me a little more time. Just give me a little more time. And then next thing you know, here's the MLK files. Here's Amelia Earhart. Here's that. Here's that. Oh, y'all want to know what happened to John Gotti? Or y'all want to know what happened? Here you go. Yeah. And folks still like, yeah, but what about the Epstein? Right. What about the Epstein? What about the Epstein? I'm starting to see right now, you know, they call it a Russia hoax, but was it a Russia hoax? It may not have been a concerted, it may not have been like a quid pro quo partnership with Putin and Russia. I mean, Putin and Trump, but Putin definitely had his minions and had his people working towards the election. They already had those bots that was all, you know, creating these, you know, AI, Black history sites and like Black militant sites, you know, coming from Russia to make us feel a kind of way. Because, bruh, if you just want to feel something, you just go on your timeline. Go on your timeline, bruh. And it's just going to pop up. It's just going to pop up. You know, whatever. It's crazy. And, you know, with Trump, bruh, again, as I said last time, you got the juice. You got the juice. But he said when Obama had a shutdown, it's the president's responsibility to get everybody in the room and make a deal. Ask him now. He's like, nah. Just open up. So to count the, on each side don't even matter no more. Because the hypocrisy is so there on all sides that it's just, your head explode, just trying to come out here and deal with this stuff, bruh. So we got this election going on today.
Mm-hmm.
You got Prop 50 out in California. So for those of you who do not know, Proposition 50 in California is trying to combat the 5 Republican seats that Trump asked Texas to redraw their lines, to gerrymander their lines, and so disenfranchise more Black and Hispanic voters in Texas so that, they could try to win the midterms, right? To try to move the goalposts. So Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, has a referendum that's on the ballot today for the people to redistrict California to try to neutralize those 5 seats in Texas. So I like the way Newsom is playing. Like, he's trolling Trump. He's coming out. He just had Kendrick Lamar yesterday. Did a new meme with Kendrick Lamar. They not like us, whatever. I like that. What say you, Teddy?
I mean, the thing about it is they've given him enough artillery to be able to say, hey, maybe he can. And he stays in the right part. He doesn't really try to, he says his stuff now, he goes at him, but he still stays within a certain element right now. But he gets a lot of things done to make people like, it's polarity, If we got to go with somebody, this could be that guy,
The Great White Hope?
Something. Some kind of hope for somebody.
The great White Hope. So, in Virginia, the lieutenant governor is an African-American female.
Right.
And she's on the ballot tonight as the Republican nominee. She's expected to lose. Is that going to be similar to Kamala Harris's loss? They've never had a female governor in Virginia, so they're going to get a female governor. But the Democrat is a white female, and the Republican is a black female.
So they're going to get the Democrat?
She's ahead. She's ahead. And in New Jersey, it's a close gubernatorial race between the Republican and the Democrat, where the Democrat Cheryl is ahead by a little bit, another female. And that's what Margie Taylor Greene was saying. She was like, you know what? It's time for the ladies to come in and take charge, because she's basically saying that the dudes over there have pissing contests.
It's the same thing that's going on in the rap game too. It's the same thing. You know what It's the same aspect. They're pushing way more for women to get in.
What is the song of the day right now? What was the song of the summer?
Song of the summer?
Yeah.
This one chick, Pluto, but I don't know, the summer.
No, that's what I'm saying, bro.
The
music is garbage.
Like they said right now, there's no songs on the top 40.
There was no song in the summer. I can't even tell you what the song it is. If you go and turn on, see, I listen to Hot 105 when I'm not listening to my own playlist, so they play classics. But
I think Cardi B had her little anthem going on for a little bit after she left Offset. That's the biggest thing.
That's really right now, Cardi B, period, because she's selling.
She was at the Patriot game, sitting next to Kraft, to the owner, and she was dressed to the nines with her baby bump. I guess she just, Cardi B is my favorite. Cardi B is my favorite simply because, when she did Bodak Yellow, when she said, y'all basically said my teeth messed up. Okay, I got to bag and fix my teeth. So she's like, I hear y'all. I know what y'all talking about. Now what? So I'm going to do everything y'all say or whatever. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. But you still can't fix your ugly, dirty soul. You know what I mean? Like, that's how she comes across to me. She's like, okay, what y'all gonna talk about? Because I know my people. I know our people. Our people gonna sit there and talk about you. You can be trying to help them out. You can be trying to do whatever, and they still gonna find ways to talk about you. You know, they talked about Jesus, as the preachers are saying. They drag Jesus. You know, and that's why I mess with Cardi, because Cardi, she doesn't mind coming out. She reminds me of Trump. She don't mind coming out there and taking on. She'll go on live and just speak her truth. She'll speak her truth right there on live, and she'll go whatever. She don't need to sneak this.
Nothing.
Yeah, she don't need to sneak this. She don't need to do whatever. And the thing I like also about her, she happy with what she has. She's like, man, you know, I was stripping, I was tricking, I was doing all this stuff right here. Now I got all this flow coming, and I'm still happy about it. And yeah, okay, so I got 2 baby daddies now, but both of them rich.
That's it.
So my kids gonna be all right. Both of them rich, and I'm rich, and bruh, Offset right now is suing her for child support. He's suing her for alimony.
I believe he get like a 75, 25 split.
Yeah, on the child support. 70-30. 70-30 on the child support. Right. But she just signed that deal with Louis Vuitton. With Louis Vuitton. So she getting 50-something million, you know, to do it. So Offset is out there like, you know, whatever. Like Kevin Federline. Remember him? Britney Spears, old guy, the old dancer. You know what I'm saying? Who also is the baby daddy for the girl from Family Matters, the Urkel show. Like her baby daddy, the white boy. So he like, hey, I'm a professional at that. I'm a professional. So do we talk about the Dolphins? Do we talk about the Cowboys? How the Cowboys just totally blew it last night, bro? Or do we talk about how the Dolphins, they got rid of Chris Greer? Now they got rid of the GM. We was calling for the GM, the head coach, and Tua. But instead, they just get the brother first. Like in every horror film, who get it first? The black man.
He's locked in till at least the end of the coach. He's locked in.
At least for the end of the season. They're like, just go ahead and figure it out.
He hasn't drafted no real top players in the last 5 years. He hasn't drafted no.
He has. What you talking about? He didn't keep the players that they unless he's been there 10 years. So, bruh, he had 3 top defensive players that got $100 million contracts for other teams. We developed them. They done cleared it, and they getting 100 million players. So they just didn't keep him. Man,
I don't know that was, and then UM.
Oh, bro.
You got to put UM in here. They just brought us down.
Yo, I was talking to one of the great K's of the past. You know, I see him when I go to the South Satellite. And, you know, player to player. I was like, player to player. Like, what's up with Cristobal? And he was like, Cristobal is not he's a great recruiter, great coacher, all that, but he's not a good in-game coach. He's not a good in-game coach. And the thing is, like, when you in, bruh, you gotta have you gotta be strong. Because there's them winning those national championships, it's a certain type of person that they was recruiting. Like those guys that came like a little rough around the edge. So now these guys rough around the edge, and they got money, and they Hall of Famers, and they coming around. Cristobal, they still sunning Cristobal. Cristobal ain't with that. He the head coach. So your boy Willis McGahee, for instance.
Oh yeah, they banned him.
Willis McGahee, went on one of the shows, Shay, whatever, or whoever, one of these podcasts, and basically said something about Cristobal or whatever, bruh. He got escorted from the stadium.
He can't come back no more.
He got escorted from the stadium.
Banned.
And that was the thing. That was the thing that when they was talking about being back. Because I went there a couple years ago when Cristobal first got there with one of the players. Lenny Moore was there. My man Vic Mars went down there with them, and they was like, yeah, Cristobal bringing the culture back. He bringing all the players, all the old players back, and seeing that or whatever. And now he got the thin skin. Now he got the thin skin. He need to go to a sports psychiatrist. I think Cristobal need to go to a sports psychiatrist and really understand like what it is, and because now folks want Lane Kiffin, they want Lane Kiffin, or they want somebody else. Cristobal just like his feelings hurt. But bruh, you cannot lose the SMU. You cannot lose the SMU.
Even though they got a squad still.
They don't have a squad, bro. They had lost 3 games. It was like 5-3. UN was going up and down the field. And then Buddy throwing interceptions. Right? And so you finally like, okay. It was like the tortoise and the hare. It was like the tortoise and the hare. UM just going up and down, up and down, up and down. SMU, they can't do nothing. They can't do nothing, but you keep any team, especially at home. President Bush was at the game.
Keeping them close.
In Dallas.
Yeah.
So, bro, you got the president at the game in Dallas, because now Dallas is calling SMU Dallas's team. Bro. At home against UM, that's
big.
I would say from college, high school, pee-wee. If you at the home team, that momentum, if you within 1 score, it's gonna happen. It's just the nature of man. Somebody gonna throw a bomb. Somebody gonna get away. Somebody gonna do something, and you can't let a team that close. Can't let a team stay that close, man. Tyler Perry. BET and VH1.
Yep.
He gave $100,000 to Pastor Mario Winans after Mario Winans shamed the lady for only having $1,200 that was in the giving line when he was collecting $2,000.
Wow.
He told the lady, after she introduced herself and her donation, he said, now what did I tell y'all to do? This is not 2,000. Like, bro, can you even hear yourself? Like, can you even hear yourself, man?
Yeah. Mario Winans.
Boy. And going back to Steph's point early on, when you talking about the dismantling of the family, like me, these struggling women that's up there, and this lady done came with $1,200, and I bet she probably, I'm speculating right now, I'm off the grid, but she in one of them food lines, pantry lines, or whatever, and she trying to get $1,200 that gets rejected. That gets rejected by Mario Winans, and then he got dragged all week on syndicated radio, but then Tyler Perry comes and gives him $100,000. Does that sound like that sound a little fishy to me? That sound a little fishy to me. Yeah, man. So D'Angelo, 51 years old, man, passed away. How long did it take for you to know when he was talking about brown sugar that he was talking about marijuana?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. See? See, I love that. I love that.
Really?
I met her in Philly, but her name was Brown Sugar. We be good around. That's why my eyes blood burgundy.
That's it.
Wow.
That's it.
Wherever she let me hit it.
That's it.
Sweet brown sugar. Yeah. Yeah.
That's wild.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. And his baby daddy, I'm sorry, his baby's mother is Angie Stone, who just passed away.
And we had his son here.
Oh yeah,
his son came here.
Wow. Okay, so
and
they
did the interview.
Yeah, they had his son.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, just how his dad was a shy guy, but how he would transform into D'Angelo. Which when he did that, How Does It Feel?
Yeah.
Video. That was
turned BT out.
Yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. But to see that the son has the same lips as his dad, and when you hear Angie Stone talking about he was conscious because she was 31. She was 31. He was 19.
Yeah.
When she scooped him.
Yeah.
When he was working on his first album, she was 31, he was 19, and said, he had come out the church. He was like singing in the church and doing stuff like that. And she told him that he was self-conscious of his lips. And she told him that that's going to be the thing that you're going to be remembered for. That they're going to fall in love with your lips. And she was telling that to his son in an interview, and she was like, "You have your father's lips," which you look at it, is like they got the same, they got this, same smile, man. Stuff like that, is dope, man. I love those stories, man, that get passed down, generation to generation. They talk about your boy Casanat, man, saying that he's smelling himself. Not only did he diss Wale, because he's like, man, I don't know who you are. And Wale stepped to him like, yo, boy, you need to know who I am. And then they start, talking about the songs that he did, Lotus Flower and other stuff, to, oh, that's him or whatever. So he just did that to somebody else, like Sanat. There was the guy, the comedian, Dion. The comedian Dion was saying that he was on the red carpet hosting for somebody, and like he's out there, he's like, I don't know these people, like Babyface and all these other people. It's like, bruh, you need to know them.
Exactly.
Like, don't be out there if you're not going, what I'm saying? Like, get up on the stuff, whatever. Tell me, I'm young. We was just talking about Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips is not Eagle. So put your money, if you're going to Vegas anytime soon, put your money on the Eagles. Put your money on the Eagles, because every time the Dolphins give up a player to a playoff contender, they win the Super Bowl. They win the Super Bowl. Troy Vincent is the last guy, and they traded him to the Eagles. Man, one of the bright spots for a third round pick. Come on, bro. You couldn't have kept, like, you had to get rid of him now. You had to get rid of him now for a third round pick. Man, who did it? Who did it? So here's your boy Nevin Shapiro. Remember, Shapiro's the guy who exposed Miami, got Miami wild out to 30 for 30. So
he exposed him?
Well, the 30 for 30 was all about how Buddy was taking all the players to the strip clubs and giving them bread and just, all the stuff and whatnot.
I interviewed him about a month ago.
Word?
Yeah. I hear he's responsible for a lot of the Miami skyline with his
pharmaceuticals?
Yeah, with his street pharmaceuticals.
Yeah. Hey, we also Teddy, you brought Mickey Monday here? We had Mickey Monday here back in the day before he passed. Mickey Monday was flying them flights.
Yep.
With them birds. Say he was up in Opelika in a ranch. I'm not Opelika, but Ocala. In a ranch. you know, that open, man, just evade detection.
Shapiro is on he's on a get back tour since he got out. It's like he's trying to get every interview possible.
Well, I mean, to his credit, what he was doing is what's going on now.
Right.
Like that's why he mad. He like, hold on, man. I had to go sit down and do time for this stuff, man. That's been going on. Like we didn't hide it well enough. You know, like just think about like Reggie Bush.
Right.
When Reggie Bush was at USC, man, I ain't never seen no player like Reggie Bush was like a video game. Like, and he was on like super warp speed. Everybody was on regular. That man was like just
taking off,
like going crazy. It was like he had to give up his Heisman, you know, for like $100,000. Man, come on, bro. They big giving up money. Now you listening to like the basketball players, Ralph Sampson. Ralph Sampson, I grew up a huge Ralph Sampson fan when he was at University of Virginia, and now I guess he done got bored because these guys been rich for 30, 40 years now. That's, you know, now they bored. So Ralph Sampson is giving interviews now. He going on podcasts, and he's very entertaining, to me at least. Because he's talking about, like, Moses Malone, who's from Virginia. He's like the Virginia boys. And he's like how Moses Malone taught, he taught Olajuwon everything he knew, like in Houston. And he was just like, you know, how did it go for your recruitment? He had been recruited since like 8th grade. It was like, how'd you go to recruitment? He was like, oh, you gotta talk to my parents. You know, like they got straight. You know what I mean? But you know, but I know Ralph Sampson was good.
Like, a lot of that come down in the podcast. I remember Ken was throwing around numbers like 300,000-400,000.
Yeah. I mean, bruh, you
remember Blue Chips?
Yep.
That was so real. That was so real. Remember we had with Willie. When Willie Williams came on, and he was talking about his recruiting process because he was the #1 player coming out when he came out. He ended up going to University of Florida.
Well, he was one of the highest players ranked ever.
Yes.
High school.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was talking about his recruiting trip, man. He was like, bro, they had a whole floor. And when you go in there, man, it was just like, you know what I mean? Like whatever you want. So, you know, it's just good that the people just stop playing. Like, you know, you can send a teacher to prison for not reporting a little part-time job, making fish sandwiches and doing hair. But a dude can take $1 billion tax deduction of somebody else's money and put it up 20 years and not pay taxes for 20 years. And folks is like, okay, bruh, it ain't okay. It ain't okay. Like going after Letitia James, and I'm not a fan of Letitia James, but bruh, a house in North Carolina that her niece is staying at, they going after this lady talking about mortgage fraud. $1,800. That's not even the jurisdictional amount, bro.
Right.
It's not even the jurisdictional amount. It just lets you know that our system of government
is failing.
It's failing. I would say it's failing because it's like, you remember in science class, you had to build a bridge with the 2 picks, and it's to try to show like where is it vulnerable, where the spots are and whatnot. And what Trump was able to do is come out here and show that human nature, like he's not doing anything other than human nature. Like everybody else is like, you know, we all got stuff that we gotta ask for forgiveness for, right? At least I do. Right? You know what I'm saying? As the preacher says a lot. I'm talking about those things that only you and God know.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like certain things. And when Trump comes out and makes it okay to just be ass out, we all can't be ass out, Teddy.
At all.
Like we really, you know what I mean? Like imagine if Kodak Black was in the White House. You got like Kodak Black, Donald Trump. Just name the people that you just say, Flavor Flav, just the Cardi B, Kanye, just the folks that you just Birdman, just some of the people that like some of the characters that they stayed in their own little box. But looking at Trump, like I don't need to stand. Everybody need to get down like I'm getting down. And I think that's what's going on right now. Like
everybody's trying to get their mark.
Hopefully, you know, like JD Vance don't have the same pull that. I don't even think JD Vance would beat Marco Rubio.
No, Marco Rubio is solid.
I think, I think it's gonna be JD. I think it's gonna be JD versus Marco Rubio for 2028. Because Marco done already showed, bro.
It depends on how many people Trump pissed off.
He done pissed everybody off. He done pissed. Trump done pissed everybody off, but
his approval rate going up.
No, it should going down. It's the lowest ever. Yeah, it's the lowest ever. It's at 57%.
I know they said
it's the lowest ever now.
Since when he came,
ever. It's at its lowest ever right now. Even he's above 50 in one thing, and that's immigration. That's like one thing, and it's going down because people don't like the way that they doing
it. The next election is determined. The Democrats don't determine the next election. It'll be determined by how many people he done pissed off by the time he in office, or how much support he done gained.
He done pissed everybody off.
His strategy may be to piss him off in the beginning.
He done pissed everybody off to the point where he just chilling. He making money hand over. He's making more money now than he's ever made. The guy that's just like, I don't need that. I'm great where I am doing what I'm doing. He's making more money now than he's ever made.
Yeah, remember in politics, people's memory is very short. So what he's doing now, if he start back on the right rhetoric by the end of his campaign, he might be back where he started.
Oh, remember, he's gonna come back to the point because he want to stay.
He done dominated for 10 years.
He want to stay.
He done dominated. Who the last person that dominated? This man has dominated for 10 years.
Yep.
Ain't nobody afraid of
Obama. I'm sitting there like, man, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.